Happy New Year everybody, hope you're all well. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, my name's Hannah, also known as Tropical Plant Addict. And today here in the UK it's pretty cold and gloomy, so I thought I'd gather some of my prayer plants together to do a prayer plant care video and also how to propagate a Maranta. My Maranta's looking a bit wild, so I thought it was time to propagate it. There's loads of different varieties of prayer plants, including calatheas, Maranta, Tinanthe, I think I've pronounced that right, and also Stromanthe, which is this one. They're amazing because there's so many different colours and patterns, which is why they're one of my favourite plants. And they're also pet friendly. Prayer plants get their name from the movement of the plant. In the daytime they fold down, and then at night they fold up into like a prayer-like position. Prayer plants are typically found in Central and South America on the forest floor, so they are shaded by trees and taller plants. So prayer plants typically like a medium light situation, even low light sometimes. I keep mine well away from all the windows or kind of tucked into corners where they're not going to get any kind of direct light or really bright light. My huge Calathea orbifolia, I keep her about 12 feet away from a west-facing window. Prayer plants love a warm, moist and humid environment, so they can struggle a little bit in the winter when you've got the central heating on and the humidity is not as high. But if you check out my humidity tips video, that will help you keep the humidity a bit higher in your home. Mine all seem to be doing quite well so far, although they are not going to be looking their best, I would say, in the winter months. I try to keep all my prayer plant soil moist. I tend to water mine little and often, rather than giving the pot a good old soak and then leaving it for a bit longer. I'll show you how I water them in a little bit so you can see. I don't tend to take them out of their decorative pots to water them. I recommend using well-draining soil that does hold on to moisture. I'll put my soil mix that I use below, but generally I'll use a mix of peat moss, compost and perlite. Prayer plants seem to be sensitive to the kind of water that you give them, so I recommend using either rainwater, distilled water or filtered water. I use filtered water. I've just got a filter jug that I fill up. I'll link below the water jug that I use. You may find if you're watering your prayer plants with tap water that you'll get leaf browning or brown kind of crispy tips, and that can just be from any chemicals or salts that are in the tap water. Make sure you're not overwatering your prayer plants, as this can lead to root rot. Brown tips can also be caused by lack of humidity or too much light on the plant as well. You'll find if your Calathea is too cold, too hot, or it's in too much light, the leaves will start to curl. I actually can't show you an example because mine don't seem to do it. It kind of looks like, oops. You know when you get a new leaf forming and it comes out curled like this? It kind of looks like that. So the plant is basically curling its leaves to protect itself from either cold, heat or light. If your Calathea is looking a little bit sad, yellow, crispy leaves or anything like that, either give it a trim or prune it right back and then it will regrow. I'll give you an example of a couple that I've done this with. My White Fusion. I think when I first got this plant as well, it had mealybugs and it wasn't looking its best. It was in the reduced section at the garden centre, but I wanted to save it and got rid of the mealybugs. Then it got spider mites, so I decided just to chop it right back, and then after a couple of months it started regrowing and it looks really nice now. So that's that one. And this is the other one I cut right back. This little guy had spider mites as well, so I just chopped it right back and it seems to be growing quite nicely now. I fertilise my prayer plants around once a month in the summer, and I use a product called Baby Bio. I'll link it below. And all I do is just put a few drops in the watering can, maybe like five or six drops, something like that. And yeah, it seems to keep the plants happy. It's just a house plant feed, nothing special. It does say greener leaves and vibrant colours on it. So if you find your prayer plant is looking a bit sad, I would assess first of all where it's placed in your house. If it's quite near a window, I would move it away from the window. Make sure that you're not overwatering it, make sure you're not underwatering it, make sure the humidity is high enough for your plant. These plants really like and thrive in high humidity. If it's none of these things, then I would maybe just give it a bit of a prune and then see how it grows back. I hope you found my prayer plant tips useful. If you've got any questions about them, just leave them in the comments below. I absolutely love prayer plants. They're definitely one of my favourite houseplants. Very hard to choose a favourite one. Do you have a favourite prayer plant? If you do, comment below. It'd be interesting to see which is your favourite. I think my Maranta was one of the first prayer plants that I bought, and then my orbifolia. And then I just started collecting loads of them, and I absolutely love them. Now on to the propagation of my Maranta. Looking a little bit crazy. A bit kind of bold in the middle there, so I thought I would give him a trim. And I'm gonna do water propagation. I think you can do soil or water, but I'm gonna propagate in water just because I've had good success with other plants in water. This plant was on the dining table with a couple of my other prayer plants, and Monster really likes nibbling the leaves. So I thought, right, I'm just going to move it for a week or so. So I moved it just across the room on its own. It didn't seem to like it where I moved it, and I started getting a few yellow leaves. So I won't be moving it again. Okay, time to propagate my Maranta. I think I'm going to take this long bit here. So all you'll need is some sharp cutters that have been sterilised. I sterilise mine with alcohol spray. I think I originally bought this to clean my makeup brushes, but I also use it to sterilise all my garden equipment as well. So all you do is just give it a quick spray, let it dry or wipe it off. So you need to find a node, which is one of these parts, because this is where the new roots are going to grow from. So I could either cut it below this node here, or I could cut it below this node. I might cut it here actually. Like that. And then all I'm going to do is just pop this into some water. I think I might change this for a smaller one, but just to show you. I've used filtered water in this jar, and I recommend changing the water around once a week, maybe here as well. Oh, this one's quite long at the back here. Also going to cut this one here. So my intentions are, once these are all rooted, I could just plant them back in the middle like this, and it's going to look like a more full, luscious plant. Rather than it being quite sparse in the middle and quite leggy, I think it'll look much nicer. I think I'm just going to leave him like this for now, and I'll see how these do. As I said, I'll probably put them in a smaller jar because this is a bit big. I'll keep you posted on how the cuttings are doing, and then once they are rooted and ready to be put into the soil, I'll make another video. I just remembered I was going to show you how I water my prayer plants. So as I said, rather than taking out the plastic pot and giving it a good old soak and then putting it back in the ceramic pot, I prefer just to water just a little bit and probably more often. So I'll just give it a little water. just like that. I don't really have a watering schedule. I'll just feel the soil and see if it's dry or if it's still a bit moist, and then just water as required. Give this one a little water as well. This one looks a bit dry. And that's that. I really hope you found that useful. Let me know if you've propagated any of your Marantas before and whether you chose to do the soil or the water method, and how long did they take to root roughly. I've found that my cuttings will root a lot quicker in the summer than in the winter, so I'm not expecting them to grow crazy roots anytime soon. But I can't wait to see how they do. As I said before, I'll include my soil mix that I use below in the description box. I don't tend to use any particular brand, just what's available at the time, and this soil mix just tends to work the best for me, and that's what I've repotted most of my prayer plants in. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you found my video useful. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see some more of my videos, make sure you subscribe and click on the notification bell. And yes, I'll see you all soon in my next video. Take care everybody, bye!